Good morning, all of you. I am Ashish Charania. My co-partner name is Balbhadra Purna and Mahida Kajal.
Charania and Balbhadra.
Balbhadra Purna and Mahida Kajal.
Purna and
Mahida Kajal. From LA College, Morbi, presenting a presentation on admixture setting is powered by Ultratech Cement and organized by Marwari Institute. Next. Before discussing about admixture, I want to discuss about something else like admixture. So for Kathiawadi, they are popular for. Did anyone has any idea? I mean to say they are popular for making food and eating delicious food. Then how the food become delicious? How the food become delicious?
Spicy.
By adding some type of masala to modify the taste. Okay. So admixture is similar like that. They are used to modify the taste, either properties of concrete. Next. For an example, water have a tendency to add more water to increase the fluidity of concrete, but they don't know that they are forming a cancer in concrete by adding excess of water. And for this purpose, admixture is used to modify the property of concrete at the same time. It's better than.
Do you have it there? Pointer?
Yes.
Can't say.
Workers have a tendency to add more water to increase the fluidity of concrete, but they don't know that they are forming a cancer in concrete by adding excess of water. For this purpose, admixture is used. Admixture is used to increase the fluidity of concrete, but at the same time does not affect the properties at a great extent. Next. Various functions of admixture are to accelerate or retard the initial settling time, to improve workability, to reduce segregation and bleeding, to reduce heat of hydration, to increase strength. Next. Okay. Their resistance to corrosion. At the same time, they decrease capillarity, rise and fall. Also resistance to thawing and freezing. Next. They are also used to produce colored or cellular concrete, and at the same time they are also used to strengthening the bond between new and old concrete. Next. Here we are seeing that there are two types of admixture, chemical and mineral admixture. Mineral admixture is also known as pozzolanic admixture. Next. Plasticizer. Dispersion of cement particle. When plasticizer is added in a mix, the particle of plasticizer get absorbed in a mix, as a result of which it will produce that repulsive force between the particle, which is known as theta potential, which result into dispersion of particle and at the same time improvement in the workability. Reduction in internal friction. Okay, for an example, take an aggregate of flaky or else rounded. They have a great amount of internal friction, but by adding plasticizer, it will decrease the amount of internal friction, and which overall result into improvement in the durability. Next. Basic product constituting plasticizer are anionic surfactants, which is calcium, aluminate, lignosulfonate and like other, and non-ionic surfactants, which is polyglycol ester and like other. Next. Various uses or functions or elements used in structure are: they are used in semi-concrete or else water retaining structure. Next. They are also used in beam and construction or ordering concrete. Superplasticizer is an improved form of plasticizer which is chemically different, which is developed in Germany and Japan, which is used to reduce the water content up to 30%, and at the same moment it is used to reduce the cement to a great extent. There is no chance of segregation and also there is no chance of bleeding. Next. Commonly used superplasticizer, which is chemical based, are sulfonated, melamine, formaldehyde, condenses, modified lignosulfonate and like other. New generation superplasticizer are acrylic polymer based polycarboxylate ester, which is based on polymer and like other. Next. Now my friend Purna will tell you about further admixture in details.
We'll see about Marshall test, which is conducted for deciding the dosage of a plasticizer or a smoke plasticizer. Here is the apparatus showing a conical vessel, a graduated cylinder and a marsh cone. The procedure is like: take 2 kg cement and 1 liter of water. Keep the water cement ratio of 0.5 Take about 0.1% of plasticizer, mix the slurry in a mechanical mixer for about 2 minutes. Then take the slurry and pour it in the mash bowl, closing the aperture with the finger. Start the stopwatch and at the same time remove the finger from the aperture. Repeat the test with different dosages of plasticizer and plot the graph connecting mash bowl time in seconds and dosages of plasticizer or smooth plasticizer. The dose at which the time is the lowest is called the saturation point and is the optimum dose for that brand of cement for plasticizer for that water cement ratio. Next, accelerators mainly reduce the setting time of concrete. They are useful for early stage development of concrete. Generally used accelerator is calcium chloride but up to a dosage of 2%. Beyond 2% dosage, it may act as a retarder. Next, some of its uses are it permits earlier removal of formwork, advances the time that a structure can be placed in service, then it is useful in case of emergency repair work, in cold weather concreting, and reduces required period of thawing. Next, retarders increase the setting time of concrete, it slows down the chemical process of hydration. When it is required to transport the concrete for a longer distance, then retarders play a very important role. Molasses, sugar, gluconates, sucrose, phosphates, etc. are generally used retarders. Next, in case of hot weather concreting, it is necessary that concrete remains in plastic and workable condition for a long period. So retarders are very useful in case of hot weather concreting. Next, aerogening admixture forms minute bubbles which may be entrained air or entrapped air, modifying the properties like segregation and bleeding. Entrained air forms minute spherical bubbles which are uniformly distributed in the concrete mass, whereas entrained air are the voids due to insufficient compaction, but they are not uniformly distributed. Next, some of its characteristics are the air bubbles which are formed remains after hardening and it improves cohesion between the particles. It is very useful in case of freeze thaw resistance. When concrete is subjected to a temperature below freezing point, the water in the pores gets freezes. It exerts pressure. Due to this, scaling and destruction of concrete occurs. Air entrainment in that case increases resistance to about 3 to 7 times. Next, some of the types are natural wood resin, animal and vegetable fats and oils, water soluble soaps of resin acids and others. Next, now we'll see about comparison. Plasticizers and soap plasticizers mainly have the same function, but plasticizers reduces water content up to 15%, while soap plasticizers reduces water content up to 30%. Next, accelerators reduce the setting time of concrete, while retarders increase the setting time of concrete. Next, air entraining admixtures produces entrained air or entrapped air. Next, pozzolanic or mineral admixtures, they are natural and artificial pozzolanas. Natural ones are clay, shales, diatomaceous earth, volcanic tuff and humicides, and artificial ones are tiles, GGBs, silica fumes and others. Starting with fly ash, first of all, coal is pulverized in a thermal power plant at about 1800 degrees Celsius, where combustion of coal takes place. A finely divided residue is collected in an electrostatic precipitator in the form of fly ash. Then wet or dry process is done. If wet process is done, it is collected in a pond. If dry process is done, it is collected in a silo. Some of its characteristics are it causes reduction in water demand, then reduces breathing and drying shrinkage. Fly ash is not a highly reactive material, so it reduces heat of hydration. Initial strength of fly ash concrete is not much, but it gains strength at later stage. It is required to cure fly ash concrete for a longer period, so it is very useful in case of underwater concreting. A high volume fly ash concrete has properties like if the mass contains minimum 50% of fly ash, then low water content, not less than 130 kg per meter cube, and cement content not more than 200 kg per meter cube, then it is called a high volume fly ash concrete and it has a very good workability. Further catchable.
Now we will see some more metal admixtures like GGBS, which is ground generated blast on next slide. It is a non-metal product which consists silicate and elements of calcium, lime and other bases. It is mainly used in manufacturing of slag cement. The GGBS has main functions in concrete resistance and it produces low heat of vibration. The sulfate is a sulfatic is mainly goes due to the reaction of sulfate with tricalcium aluminate, which forms the leads the formation of calcium sulfate aluminate, which is double salt known as etranzite. By adding more than 50% of GGBS by replacement of cement, it causes a delay of formation of etranzite, and hence it is safe against corrosion and sulfate attack. Now, let's. Hydration of GGBS in concrete is less exothermic and it safe against and it reduces the thermal stresses in concrete. Thermal stresses in concrete. This is the picture showing the various dosage of GGBS with displacement to cement. As we can see that there is more than 50% replacement with GGBS, the sulfate attack is reducing. The color is showing. Next. These are the sample of fly ash and GGBS. Next. Now we will see the comparison between fly ash and GGBS with respect to cement. As we can see that the GGBS has more sulfate with respect to cement and fly ash, as well as the cost is also higher. The more other factors like color and sources are present. Next. Silicon is manufacture of silicon or ferrosilicon which produce silicon dioxide. As a result of this process, it produces silicon oxide gas which oxidizes to silicon dioxide and it forms into pure spherical particles which is microsilicon known as silica. It is sticky in nature and hard to handle. The module of elasticity is less as compared to normal one of the same compressive strength. Next. Now about metakaolin. It is an unpurified material of ordinary clay. It is a high reactive metakaolin made by autoprocessing to remove unreactive impurities. It shows the high Boltzmann reactivity which reduce calcium hydroxide as early as possible. Rice husk helps. It is a best material obtained by burning of rice husk.